Hi everybody, EJ and I are here with you. EJ and I would like to talk to you a little bit about antibiotics. Last time we talked about garlic and the many benefits of garlic. I hope you were able to listen to that program. And just as a recap, I would like to mention the fact that some people are not able to take garlic all by itself. One of the things that you might want to do before you take large amounts of garlic would be to take a flaxseed slurry, drink a flaxseed slurry. And that would be put a couple tablespoons of a whole flaxseed in a half a cup of water and swish it around and drink it down. And that will provide enough mucilaginous protective barrier to where you should be able to tolerate the garlic. So that would be a good way to get garlic down. And I just wanted to add that. Also, I wanted to mention, don't think I mentioned before, that garlic is also an immune stimulant. So we mentioned that garlic was the #1 broad-spectrum antibiotic that my husband and I recommend. It is very strong for healing, and also to be used as a preventive. So we're going to go through the different antibiotics, but I'm going to pause for just a second and talk to you about why we should be doing the alternatives. For starters, we have 80% of our immune system exists in our gut. There's a big reason why we want to try to do the alternative if we can. We have to remember that the great physician provided for us where we are now, and where we are now is we have a deep need of exercising these natural remedies because we've never been taught how to do it. We've never really exercised them because we didn't know just how badly we need it. So 80% of our immune system is in our gut. And when we come along with a course of antibiotics, then that affects our microbiome. It affects it so deeply that just one course of antibiotics can deeply affect our immune system for up to 2 years. So it perpetuates the problem. It may fix a bacterial problem. It may fix an infection in your body, but we're coming up against problems like we're becoming resistant, antibiotic resistant, superbugs. So there are a lot of reasons why we want to turn up the heat on our natural remedies. So we're going to talk about that briefly. We don't have a lot of time, so we want to move swiftly. So we talked about garlic before and how important that is. The second one on my list would be Echinacea angustifolia. Echinacea angustifolia, ANGI, would be strep throat. It's really good for strep throat. And it also raises white blood cells. The reason why Echinacea is so strong and powerful, the roots especially, but all parts of the Echinacea plant is very medicinal. And the reason why I would recommend this one secondly is because of its effect on the immune system. And plus you can turn up the heat with Echinacea. The more you give your body, if you have a very serious condition that you're working with, you want to really bring it up. I would probably go with, you can bring up to 5 even more cups of tea a day. And then I would never recommend, if a person really needs to move swiftly and get a good antibiotic effect in their body, one of the things that I would recommend is do not take capsules. A lot of times when people ask me, why am I not getting the effect of the natural remedies, the antibiotics, natural antibiotics that I'm taking? Typically, the reason why is because they are not turning up the heat. They're taking just a couple capsules 3 times a day. Now, to give you an example, if a person were to take a tincture, which is the expressed herbal remedies that you get from soaking the herbs in either in grain alcohol, or also you can use vegetable glycerin. You'll be pulling these properties out of the herb. Those are much stronger, and also taking it in the tea form is also much stronger than the capsules. So typically, if people are not getting the benefit, they need to drink it in the tea form or in the tincture form. Typically, 12 capsules is the equivalent of the tincture in only one dosage, which would be one dosage of like 20 to 30 drops in the mouth is equivalent to 12 capsules. So you can see that the tinctures are much stronger, and so you want to go for the tincture if you possibly can. So Echinacea angustifolia comes really close to garlic. And then third would be juniper berries. Juniper berries is very strong for any kind of urinary tract infection. If a person wants to use this preventively, also you can do that because sometimes people get in a situation, people with diabetes, they typically have a lot of urinary tract infections. So they need to turn up the heat with drinking juniper berries. And in terms of preventive, you can do that. And they also work very well in a formula. If you were able to get a formula with, say, juniper berries and also uva ursi along with horsetail, those are all very powerful astringents. And so also the juniper berries. Next one would be Oregano Essential Oil. You could take the oregano, you could drop 3 to 5 drops in a capsule and take that 3 times a day. Oregano is an antiseptic, it's an antibiotic effect, antifungal, antiparasitic, and then you don't have to put it in capsules, empty capsules. What you can do is you can put it in a glass of water. It's very strong though. For a chilled child, you wouldn't want to do that because it typically burns your mouth a little bit when you take it that way. So Oregano Essential Oils is very powerful, very strong in the body. Also, because it is a powerful antiparasitic, antifungal, and antibiotic, it's going to also have a powerful effect on cancer as well. The next one, number 5, would be tea tree oil. Tea tree oil is really good for things like a fungus. It's an antifungal. And so anytime you're dealing with any kind of fungus on the skin, you might want to put you could put it directly on a cloth and mix it with a little bit of olive oil. Anytime you want to decrease the effect a little bit, like if it might be a little too strong for a child, always use olive oil to put just a little bit in. I personally use tea tree oil straight on my skin if I have a problem. If you have a toenail fungus, you can file that fungus off of the face of your nail, file it completely down, and then every night just before bedtime, put some drops right on the toenail. Toenail fungus is a little difficult to deal with simply because every day you put your feet in socks and then you go off to work, and then it has a warm environment for the fungus to grow. So that's a difficulty we come against. But if you can keep it filed down, keep the fungus filed off, and then put some tea tree oil surround that your toe, put it straight on your toenail, that would be just fine. It would be a good way. Another way is to put apple cider vinegar. Soak your foot in apple cider vinegar with some tea tree oil every night as well. So those will help. It's a wonderful antifungus. And then the 6th one would be elderberries. Elderberries has a wonderful for your immune function, and also there are scientific studies that show that it has been able to correct the H1N1. So elderberries is really good for preventively. I have many mothers that we make elderberry tea for every year, and they keep their children healthy and happy throughout the winter season when everyone else has colds. The elderberry tincture is wonderful. Next is golden seal, very good for infections. Golden seal is a little expensive, so people typically steer away from that. A good alternative would be the Oregon grapefruit, and that's not nearly as expensive. And it's good for infections. It's an anti-inflammatory. And also, golden seal is good for digestive issues. So the next one would be colloidal silver. Colloidal silver is also very powerful. People even use it as through their inhaler, inhaled through nebulizer. It's good for lung cancer. People can use it a lot of different ways. You can spray it right on your skin when you have a skin infection, and you also can take it by mouth. So there's a lot of different ways to incorporate colloidal silver also. And there's nothing that says that you can't use more than one of these remedies. You can use garlic more often. You can also use garlic, you can use oregano, and you can use the golden seal. You can use them all together, put them in a formula together. There are a lot of different ways you can use it and a lot of different ways you can turn up the heat. Eucalyptus is really good for your sinuses. You can put a little bit of it in olive oil and put it right on your sinuses, your forehead, your cheeks, under your nose, and also put it in a steam vaporizer and be able to get that effect all night long. It's really good for any kind of sinus infections. That along with echinacea, again, which will bring your immune system up. So always combating it from all angles will bring your infection or any kind of pathogens in the body to a screeching halt. Another one would be plantain with apple cider vinegar. Is really good for acne. Plantain is in everybody's yard and is very, very powerful. So these are just some natural remedies would be very wonderful. It's a good place to start for healing. Start where you're at, bloom where you're planted. And once you start getting these natural remedies in your body, then you'll see the power. And that's what it's all about, because God provided these for us. If we can take hold of these powerful antidotes for disease and for fungus and all of these things that are attacking our body and attacking our life as the earth grows older and older, if we can incorporate these into our lives, then we will walk away with much more confidence in God, because we would know that He provided for His people where we are, just like He did the children of Israel. And so I always want to encourage people, start with one thing. Start with one thing, use it to the best of your ability, and then you will develop confidence so that when something serious comes along, you will know exactly how to use the remedies. And not only that, you will have developed a confidence in these remedies that no one can take away from you. It's very powerful when it comes to antibiotics, because I believe that they are very powerful and very needed. We don't want to do anything to our immune system that will bring it down. Everything we want to put into our lips if we can. That does not mean that there will not be a time when we have to use antibiotics. But if we can start simple, if we can develop the confidence on a small level, then guess what? We will know how to turn up the heat, and by the grace of God, we will not need to put anything into our lips that will compromise our immune system. Isn't our immune system what God has put inside each of us to not only stay well, not only to get well, but to stay well? And that's what we want, is to be able to get well by the grace of God.